Okay, so the topic is social network analysis. How we can do the analysis in social network and how we can do the link mining procedure. That is the topic of today's session. So social network analysis, that means in a graphical representation, the nodes are representing what the activity we are doing that. So by which person or which computer or which machine we are performing the task, that is done by social, or that is represented by nodes, and links that are represented by the relationship details. So the relationship details that will be represented like a link. So likes and follows, that are the example for the link. So the uses for the social network analysis are, we need to identify the which characteristics of the a particular graph or a social network that will be have, and we need to create one particular model for that particular graph with a certain characteristics, and also we need to do some predictions about the behavior or pattern of the particular graph. So that is the uses of social network analysis. We need to identify the one social or which are the media or which are the network we are using, identify the characteristics, and we need to generate model. Some depends on the graph characteristics, we need to create some model, or we need to create some predictions behavior or based on their behavior of the certain graph. That is the concept or uses of the social network analysis. Then, what are the different characteristics of social network analysis? One is degree of distribution, small world effect, densification, and shrinking parameters. Here, the degree of distribution, that means that the way of connection, that are what are the what are the different connections are distributed across the network. In a social network, some nodes or pupils may have so many connections or so many network they are joined together or connected together, and some pupils or some nodes with the some fewer connections. So the connections or the or links that will be represented by the edges, and the nodes that are represented by the pupils. So this distribution or this uneven distribution, it will show some patterns, how many connections the particular person that will hold. This will be influences having a degree of connections. That means how many time or how many connections a particular node or a people have, that will be calculated the degree of connections of individual
Reader.
node. That the distribution, that is called the degree of distribution. Then small world effect. Is it? Small world effect means the concept of, or even if it is a large network, the distance between the two random individuals or two random nodes, it will be relatively small. Or that means that when a large network, some it contains some chain of or connection between these networks, the degree or the distances between these individual node, which will be very small, it is called small world effect. That is, it is similar to the idea of where people in the world are connected by a short chain of networks. That is called a small world effect. Then next one, densification. Densification means as network grows, our tendency to one social network between grow from smaller to larger, it will be increases by, or between nodes it is increases faster than the number of or the people which will be connected to a bigger network. From the smaller to bigger, it will be fasterly, it will be increases one by one node. So that tendency, it will be called the densification. So first one, or initially when a user or a people or a node, it will be interacted with the only with the some small network area. But apart from that or other than the network, it will be increased, rapidly increasing. The one node, it will be automatically increased, and it will be become larger. So it will be grow gradually. That is the concept called densification. Okay. So shrinking parameters mean the average distance between nodes in the network. Even in the network grows, but the connections between these network that will be decreased. So shrinking parameter means averaged to be nodes or average distance between any two nodes decreases, especially the people in the network are able to reach each other through fewer connections. That means the parameters or whatever the social network media or social media, the people is interested to connect, the distance between these two networks that will be reduced based on their connections. That is called a shrinking parameters. So these are the four characteristics of social network analysis. One is degree of distribution, how many times the people or nodes are connected together within the social network, that is degree of distribution. Small world effect means the connection between the people with the social network, it will be on, or it is only a smaller area only, that is, or the nodes interconnected, the connection between two individuals, it will be a small node, that is small world effect. Densification means it will be gradually increases, or the network it will be, or the link or following pattern it will be increased gradually to make a bigger social network, that is densification. Shrinking parameters means even in the network grows, the connections or the parameters in between the connections of different social networks or different pupils, that will be reduced in the way of the parameters or the connection distance, that will be decreased, that is called as shrinking parameters. Then link mining. Link is basically or the likes or views or the follows, that is basically mining, link mining. So we can analyze the data inside the social network by using link mining also. So link mining is a emerging area in the data mining. So we can mine the information, or we can retrieve the information based on the link, or based on the number of likes or number of followers, for a particular person or a particular group of or particular network or a particular media. Based on that we can analyze the data. So link mining is or link mining is can be predictive, or it will be building a predictive and a descriptive models based on the linked data, that is, or interest, or the following links or followers or interest or views. Based on that data it will be predictive answer or descriptive models that can be, or that could be built by using link mining. So these are the different tasks involved in link mining. One is link based object classification, object type prediction, link type prediction, predicting link existence, link cardinality estimation, object reconciliation, group detection, subgraph, and metadata mining. The first one is link based object classification. This refers to, or how we can classify the object and nodes, or classifying the object. It could be a web page or a person based on the links it has. That means the object we need to classify based on the link it has. That is concept called a link based object classification. That means classifying a web page as a news site, or it will be a news site or a blog based on the characterized, or based on the websites the already it will be linked with. Based on that, or that object, or that network or that site or web page or a person, it will be classified which type of link or which type of likes they have. Based on that it is a news site or a blog based company or a blog based web page, that it will be classified. That is link based object classification. So that is the, or in link mining, that means that this is the process of analyzing relationship in data, how it will be related, or how or which type of link they are exist, or in data or different peoples or different web pages, or especially in networks like social network or web, which type of relationships these two web pages have, these two social networks have, that are basically the link meaning procedure, or the process of analyzing the data based on their link or a relationship. The second point is object type prediction. Object type prediction means the category of an object, it will be predicted or classified based on its connections. That means when a person or a web page, it will be connected by a professional network like LinkedIn, or a user have a connection with the different professions or professional websites, or based on this data we can predict that particular user, it is a manager or an engineer, is it? So object type prediction, and the person or a person or a user, we need to predict in which category the process, the object that will be belongs based on the connection activities. For that means one user that will be connected with a professional website or a LinkedIn, so it will be based, it will be think that this is a technological professional or an engineer. So this type of prediction that will be made, that is object type prediction. The next one, link type prediction. In link type prediction, the nature of the relationship between two objects that should be identified. Okay, that means in a network or a citation network, the link between two papers indicate, or which paper that is referenced in other paper, or how they are related together. In general sense, how the papers, link type prediction means if we wrote some articles like one a paper we already written, so some reference texts or reference papers we already cited inside the paper. So that citation we are using to directly how the papers they are directly linked together, that is based on their citations. Okay, so uh, typical this type of link or this type of relationship between two objects that will be determined by the direct link of these particular objects, or how they are uh, generally they will share information, or how their relationship belongs to two different objects, that will be identified by the link type of prediction. Link means that should be a direct link, or generally that both sides or both papers that will be related together. So that is called a link type prediction. Then next, predicting link existence. That means some objects we need to identify uh, whether a link between two objects will appear in the future. That is the concept called predicting link existence. That means on a social network or Facebook or a WhatsApp, you can predict if two users might become friends based on their mutual connections and shared activities. How these two peoples will be linked in future also, or how many or how long they will connected together, that will be predicted by using this predict link existence. So this will be classified, or this data will be analyzed based on the characteristics like when a user uses some social network media, we can predict that it contains some mutual connections. The person or a user, it contains some mutual connections, and it contains some shared activities. So these are the person like this, or this link it will be long lasting in future also. So the existence of the link or existence of the relationship we could predict, that is by using some characteristics of the user, that is called a predicting link existence. Okay, then link cardinality estimation. So estimating how many links an object might have. That means uh, in a network, some co-authorship networks will be there.
Yeah.
Or
Josh
how many?
Josh washroom.
Who is that?
Okay,
Please unmute your mic. Joshua.
Guarantee. Waiting just.
So, link cardinality estimation means uh, we estimating how many links an object have. That is concerned, or a particular researcher, or if an article it contains some authors and a co-authors. Is it? So, how many papers of the researcher or one researcher is have co-author with the same researcher, or one researcher it will be added the same co-author in so many papers, or how many times they have the link between them. That is called a link cardinality estimation. Cardinality means the number which we needed to count based on the link with the user, or means how many times the user or one user that is related to the another user repeatedly. This is called a link cardinality estimation. So based on the link between these persons or between these users, we can predict the data or we can analyze the data. How pattern that the user that is follow to link with the same user, same network medias or network, but with the same user, it may contain the same link or use the same user or the same network, same media continuously up to some period of time. That is link cardinality estimation value. Then object reconciliation, that is another method. So it means that identifying that two profiles in a social media platform, that is resolving instances where multiple records refer to the same object. It contain multiple records it have, or multiple instances we have, but it also refer the same object only. So identifying that when a two profiles in a social media platform, it belong to a same person. That means the same person contain different IDs or different profiles in a different social media platforms. That means in a LinkedIn, one person have one profile data. Then in Twitter also the same person have different profile. So the detail is the narrow changes in a detail or a profile, but the different profile that will be maintained in different social network platforms. So this is called the object reconciliation. The same object, it contain multiple records or a multiple instances. By using this only, we could analyze the data. That is called a object reconciliation concept. Then next one, group detection. Group detection means we need to find out the clusters or community over a particular network. In a social media, we need to identify the groups of people who is continuously or frequently interact with each other and share some common interests or the same information into their group of friends to or colleagues, the same information or the same interest data that will be shared together. So we need to find out the common communities or the common clusters in a particular network. That is called a group detection. Then next one is and subgraph and metadata mining. So this means that analyzing different subgraphs. That means it contain a larger graph or a bigger graph. From that graph, we generated the subgraphs, that is the smaller parts of the bigger graph. and it contains its own metadata. Metadata means their information or the graphs or correlated or core information inside that is called a metadata. So that means that when a people connected with a larger business network, so we need to identify the different sub networks of a person or some people connected to do their business activities, and uh, and their role of interactions. What is their role of interaction inside that larger network, and split it with the sub network, and it will be identified in business, in a larger business area, which area that a particular person it is concentrated. So examining these type of sub networks over a larger network or a subgraph, that is called a metadata or a subgraph metadata. That means when a larger data group or larger network it is available, inside that larger network, when a person interacting with the different roles of communication, so these roles individually we are splitting and we make a subnetwork or a subgraph. After analyzing these subgraphs, we could identify which pattern, the characteristics that person they are following. So based on that data, based on that data, we can analyze this particular data. That is called a subgraph and a metadata mining. So each subgraph or each subnetwork, it will contain its own metadata. Metadata means the data about the data, that is information about the information, the core data that will be included inside the metadata. So each subgraph it will individually specify, it will specifically display the details or specify the details of a person, which will contain which role or interactions that will be made a particular social network medium. So this is called a subgraph and a metadata mining. So for the link mining, there are 8 steps. One is link-based object classification. Link mining is the process of analyzing data based on the relationship, based on the links inside the social network. So based on these characteristics, we could break down the data and analyze it separately. So it will be 8 types of classification. It will be available. One is link-based object classification, object type prediction, link type prediction, predicting link existence, link cardinality estimation, object reconciliation, group detection, subgraph, and metadata mining. Then different challenges in link mining. So there are so many local versus statistical dependencies will be there. So evaluating the data, they need some statistical dependencies over the social network or different social media networks. Then we need to classify the features separately. So feature construction it will be needed. Then instances versus classes, different object will be there. In the given umbrella, there are a lot of instances will be we need to measure, and outer from the instances only the entire classes will need to analyze the data. So to get the final result, the final classes will be we need to analyze. Then collective classification and collective consolidation it will be needed. So after each object classification, and we need to consolidate or grouping consolidation it will be needed, then only the classification or proper data analyzing it will be done. Then link prediction means when we want to do the link mining or to know with the which is the relationship between each person or a social network websites, we need to initially predict the content or predict the link which they have. Based on the link only the data could be filtered easily or classified easily. Then effective uses of labeled and unlabeled data. So which object we are concentrating to mining the link, or based on the users, that means or web pages, that is the nodes or vertices, based on these people's or the labeled contents on which is the connection between these two nodes or peoples that will be made by the link. So proper link or proper labeled or unlabeled data only we can easily classify or analyze the data. That is the challenges in link mining. Okay. So social network analysis means based on our own social network or what are the familiar social network we have. So or we are using based on the characteristics of our user or the other users which are frequently use the social network medias or which web pages they are visited or which persons they are contacted or which activities they are frequently done. So the based on these characteristics, the data could be analyzed. That is called the social network data analysis. So for the social network data analysis, we can form a special structure based on their behaviors or based on the actors or based on the users or based on the organization. We could form the data or we could characterize the data, and based on the data we could analyze easily. Okay, so that is social network analysis and link mining. Hope you understood. Then some important topics. Okay,